3. I am not a church priest, therefore I am not speaking for a congregation. However, I have read this and I gained something, and I want to share this understanding to the just put it out there so that I think it's valuable. But if you don't think so, then it's fine as well. Um, what advantage Romans 3 verse 1? What advantage then had the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? Okay, here just a little background here. Um, Paul here is trying to explain how Jesus is the completion of the Torah or the law of Israel people at the time until now, even that Jesus is the Messiah. Therefore, Jesus completes the law, and therefore the previous Torah or the Torah that we know now is not complete without Jesus. Okay, so and then therefore, what's the role of the Jews now that Jesus has already manifested the Torah? So, um, like this is the message of Christianity, is that salvation for the Jews and salvation for the non-Jews or the Gentiles, and therefore everything has been completed, and the purpose of the law has been uh, amalgamated by Jesus. And therefore, now where does the Jew play a role now since everything has happened? So in here, Paul said, uh, what advantage then had the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. Okay, so it's like nowadays we got scientists who issued reliable journal article, like the Nobel Prize winners and stuff. We know we refer to them as those who are worthy of our thanks. So a little bit like that, somewhat in the spirit of that, like someone who has the headwinds of the order here is something that is respectable. Um, and again, he mentioned about circumcision, which means that the Gentiles here is not circumcised. It is not an obligation for Gentiles to be circumcised. It's an identity of the Jews. Um, if you want to be circumcised, of course, it's fine, but it's not going to be like this. It's not going to be the identity of the, you're going to be the Israel. No. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yeah, let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written. So before I end this verse 4, it is I found this could be very difficult to understand. Therefore, this is also the reason why I am making this live. Is that what I get from this is that Paul is trying to say that um, that that uh, this is God. How do I say it? This is I said in my previous video that God is not omnipotent, right? I think this is the way that Paul said something like that. Okay. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. It means no. God is the spirit of truth. Therefore, um, what is true. Just because you don't have faith on it doesn't make it wrong. Okay, so I got confused a little bit there. I'm sorry about that. So that is the meaning of 3:3 here, that what is true is true. Okay, just because you have no faith in the Torah or things that are said or Jesus Christ, it's not going to change reality for you. Reality is reality. God forbid, okay? Yeah, let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written. So, not liar on purpose, but it's just that we have lies in our head that we already believe. Not necessarily we are lying on purpose, but we just wrong. We just wrong. And then, um, as it is written, that thou might be justified in thy sayings and might overcome when thou art judged. So this is Paul trying to express the role of lawfulness, the pen on paperness. Okay, so this is talking about judgment. So the clearance of the law nowadays, if you speed up beyond the speed limit, they have to announce the speed limit for you to be declared wrong, right? So it is something like that, so that this is the role of the law, so that basically we're going to see further what he's saying. uh, Verse 5, but if our unrighteousness command the righteousness of God, what shall we say? So he's talking about contrast here. The Our unrighteousness make clear of what is righteous. There's contrast. So if someone do something wrong and there's something that a concept that is better than that, it is we can kind of feel like, oh, this is bad and this is good, right? There's a contrast. So this is what Paul is talking about, I think. But if our unrighteousness command the righteousness of God, so contrast, what shall we say? Is God unrighteous who take vengeance? I speak as a man. So why do we have the law? Why can't God be always righteous? So if you commit something wrong, um, why do we need the law? Okay, so this is the where it is something, an expression how God is not entirely omnipotent. It's something like that because God used the method of vengeance or punishment for those who are in the bad side of the reality. Okay, so it is something like that. It is a reality, it is an expression of how things are. It's just there are bad people. Why do we have bad people? It's just the way it is. This is bad, and it is being expressed or articulated within the Torah or the law of the land, which I'm going to elaborate next, but it is going to be a segue, so I'm just going to continue until the end first. I hope I could remember in the end to elaborate further on that. Verse 6, God forbid, for then how shall God judge the world? So if you don't know the law, right, how could you be judged? If the law is not announced, how could there be trespasses? For if the truth of God had more abounded through my lie or my wrongness unto his glory, why yet am I also judged as a sinner? If the truth of God had more abounded through my lie to my wrongness unto his glory. So my wrongness again contrasted what is right, because of what because of the articulated law. My wrongness brought about contrast upon we could articulate what is right and what is just, and therefore, why yet am I also judged as a sinner? So am I hard to explain. Is this trying to say that because you are wrong but you contribute, right? Because of your badness, we know what is good. So you're contributing something. Why are you being condemned? But I could be wrong about this. Let us continue. And not rather as we be slanderously reported, and as some affirm that we say, let us do evil that good may come, whose damnation is just. Okay, so again the same thing. So that you know we that's the role of the Torah, right? The law is being handed down for us so that we wouldn't. It is something that is here. Here's the thing. we already have the law, right? So if someone breaks the law again, he's wrong. If someone do something bad now, but there's no law, we learn something. Okay? So the role of the law, I'm talking about the law of the land, not Torah in particular, okay? The role of the land is like a safe point. It's like a checkpoint in a game where you start from there, you don't repeat everything all over again. Okay? Something like that. Let's go next. Um, what then? Are we better than they? Because Paul was a Jew as well. What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise. For we have before proved both Jews and Gentile that, okay, wait. Paul's talking as a he's he's been ostracized from Judaism, from being the Judaism, one of the Pharisees, right? He a Pharisee? I think he's no longer a Pharisee. So he is talking under that premise. Okay, all right. What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise, for we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin. Wait a minute, is he talking as a Jew? I'm not sure. But the point is, Jews and Gentiles are both condemned by the law. Okay, so here's a little segue here so that we all could, so that I could better explain my position and what I believe. Okay, I believe that the for we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles. I believe that the law something distracted me. I forgot what I was about to say. Okay, let's just continue on verse 10. As it is written, there is none righteous. No, not one. Okay, he's saying it itself. Chapter 11, there is none that understand. There is none that seek after God. They are all gone out of the way. Verse 12, they are together become unprofitable or unsustainable. We know profit is about sustainability, right? There is none that do good, no, not one. Their throat is an open sepulchre. With their tongues they have used deceit. The poison of asp is under their lips. Chapter 14, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Right? All of these things is an everyday occurrence with people. People are not perfect. Sometimes they're like this. And what Paul is saying is that this is imperfection that's not gonna carry through, that cannot be considered the amalgamation of a sustainable humanity. Things like this imperfection could cause big problem, could cause damages. It is not holy, it is not good in a sense that it will go on forever. If it is propagated, it's going to cause big problems. And then their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in their ways, and the way of peace have they not known. 18, there is no fear of God before their eyes. Okay, sometimes look, this is the nuance, right? I think what Paul is saying here is just like it's a matter of context. The context here is that we are sometimes like that, we are sometimes are not like that. But when we are like that, it is not good, and it is attained towards our whole being or our soul. Now we know that what things soever the law said, it said to them who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped and all the world may become guilty before God. So that is the role of the law. He is going to say this as well. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. All is wrong. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. This is his point. This is his whole point. That what is the role of the law apart from Jesus Christ, or with Jesus Christ as well, I think, is to give a contrast to us what is right and what is wrong. Otherwise, we wouldn't know, and otherwise, we wouldn't be judged. And why do we need to be judged? So that we could brought about a better future, a just justice, right? So to manifest justice. Okay, we're talking about manifestation next. But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifested in Jesus, I believe, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. So Jesus himself fulfilled all of the standards that is being put initially by doing what? Even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Jesus Christ unto all and upon all them that believe, for there is no difference. No difference. So if you live by faith, you're going to fulfill the standard anyway. For all have sinned and have come short of the glory. Oh, wait. Am I going too fast now? Even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Jesus Christ, unto all and upon all them that believe. For there is no difference. That's okay. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So no one can be the amalgamation of sustainable humanity but Jesus. Why is this a good thing? Um, because obviously, if you live at that time and even now, we all deal with imperfection of humanity. So if one would say, "Oh, I am God, everyone follow me," like probably Nebuchadnezzar did, his kingdom is not perfect anyway. So if people follow to become Nebuchadnezzar, they're all going to go to war, they all are going to be cocky. It's just wrong. There's no compass. But now we have a compass, which is a human being, and it is declared by God Himself as the compass. So that is the salvation here. Is that, oh man, I don't, okay, anyway. That's the salvation here, which is, that's where we point to. That's, it's there, and it's him. That's the guy. And we all know the importance of focus, right? If we don't focus in life, we're not going anywhere. So we got the focus right now, just Jesus Christ. So that is the salvation here. And for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. So we are going to we're not redemption is a big issue that has its own topic, right? It's big, but for the sake of this context, we can understand that that is redemption here, that we got a compass and all we got to do is just follow it. If we are following it, we are good to go. Okay, so that is the redemption here, whom God had set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of God. So everything that you do wrong, you can see now your position relative to Jesus. All you got to do is just go away from there towards Jesus. Okay? That is safety. That is where safety is. And then to declare, I say, at this time his righteousness, that he might be just and the justifier of him which believe in Jesus. So he's talking the world, he's saying belief like he's talking about faith. I think faith is not just belief, it is also logic. Okay, that I've explained about this in another video. We know that the second law of thermodynamics is real, so that there is, in everything, there is a state of low entropy and there is a state of high entropy, and we know that the universe is expanding. So there is a puzzle here, right? So that is faith. There is loveliness, and it is a puzzle. We got to do is complete the puzzle. Okay, so okay, to I'm just saying it shortly. Then after that, where is boasting then? It is, so just by following the uh, so We got the puzzle of love, and we got Jesus as the frame. And and we don't use the law to be to complete the puzzle. We use our faith of love, our faith that there's this thing called loveliness, and then that's what we follow, and that would be good, and that would fulfill the standard upon which is the law. However, though, guys, we shouldn't be cocky, right? Sometimes we could be wrong. So we always also is going to refer to the law for our actions. Sometimes we do something that is not entirely condoned by word per word of the law. Like, for example, we forgive someone who committed sin instead of throwing rocks at him or her. That is actually good, even though the law said, even though the law said that that person is worthy to be killed. Yeah. But now that's the nuance here. I don't want to talk with people who don't want to take responsibility. That is not the purpose of my relationship here. I don't want to deal with people who don't want to take responsibility and who is searching for uh, an a figure or an example to lean on to not be responsible. I am not going to cater to that because that's a dead end. That is just useless. That is a dead end proven by history over and over again. I don't want to ponder to that. I don't want to subscribe to that. I don't want to facilitate that mentality or that need. Okay? So have some nuances. We are all human beings. And then have some discretion to declare, I say, at this time his righteousness, that he might be just and the justifier of him which believe in Jesus. Where is boasting then? It is excluded. By what law? Of works? No, by the law of faith. Okay, so again, nuances, guys. There, you gotta have nuances. You're a human being, you're not a robot. Take responsibility. Even though the law said like this, and and different circumstances entails a different thing is good, do the different thing, obviously, but have some humbleness as well. You are not higher than the standard. But okay, that's why we are human beings. We should have discretion. Okay, it's not gonna work if we deny that. And please don't deny that. We are all human being again. Where is therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not also the God of the Gentiles? Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also. Seeing it is one God which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith. Seeing it is one God which shall justify the circumcision by faith. So circumcision is where you are being adopted into a family, okay? And then an uncircumcision through faith. So faith is now the the mode upon which we are connecting with each other, upon which we found love, which is to elaborate more about faith. Belief is a part of it, logic is a part of it, faith is something, proof of what we don't see, right? So like a mathematical proof, we don't really see the thing, but it is logic, right? It's a proof. And then in particular about God, so for example, God is good, therefore he wants us to solve our problems. That is faith. That is logic also. Okay. Next, is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also. Seeing it is one God which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith. Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yeah, we establish the law. Um, so we so the law is completed by that. Again, guys, this is also one reason why I don't want to ponder to those who don't want to be responsible. Oh, I persecuted the Jews before because Hitler said so. Okay, like come on, you are evil. Okay, Hitler is evil, but you are evil. Take responsibility. Okay, you are a human being. You know these things are bad, right? So in the end, I want to um, I want to remember this. And also, another thing that I wanted to say is that the difference between the law of the land and Torah, of course, they are not the same. But the law of the land that is truthful, let's say, for example, there's a dictator, right, who make laws out of his own whim. However, since he's the government, he's vested interested in the performance of the government, and that element of it is godly. So there are parts of the law that is made in order to be a successful society, right? And there's a part of the law that is just downright evil. The Torah is not made by the Torah is just we believe that the Torah is being handed out by God. Therefore, it is based on the truth, right? So if the law of the land somewhere between a different place, for example, America, from Asia and everything, is based on the truth, this law, in my opinion, these laws, in my opinion, is going to be like the Torah. It's just going to have properties of the Torah as the law of the land. And the way we as Christians are prescribed to approach the Torah in a sense that it is the law of the land, not the law that's going to brought about Messiah. That is the religious side of it, but there is a side of the order of it, the law of the land. Um, um, Such approach is going to be relevant for all of the other laws as well. And if we do have this thing called humility, we're not going to consider ourselves above the law, obviously. But we should also have discretion where there's this thing that is not yet good, there is this thing that is evil. Obviously, that's the point of Christianity, right? We would not do things that are evil, but we still submit to our government. We still submit to the sense of order, because God make this world orderly, and that is we cater to. Another thing also, why we subscribe to the law and we refer to it, is that the principle of light. Those who live in the light, those who love the, uh, those who live, those whose deeds are evil, don't want to be in the light. Where is this light? Is in the spoken word. So that is the value of spoken word, I think, in Christianity. Spoken word is Jesus, right? It's so powerful, and that's one aspect of it. uh, pen on paperness. If yes, say yes. If no, is no. um, Other than that the came from the evil one. And then after that, it shouldn't be equated, like innuendo shouldn't be equated with Romans chapter 9, where the Holy Spirit intersect for us to make everything come together. It's not the same. That's crazy. Because if you watch YouTube um, about the people who have used psychedelics, they explain the experience as undescribable. I think we use the parallel of it to describe the language of God. Okay, it's just not humanly expressible. It's just one thing. I don't know how to describe. I don't know. I have never used psychedelics, to be honest. But logically speaking, the language of God shouldn't be something that is so easy to express. Okay, so it's just, and it is a powerful language as well that has actual impact in the truth. That is that is just so powerful. It's, don't equate that to innuendo, for God's sake. That is just lies. That's unknown. That is not the same. That is a blasphemy. That's just, it's just, no, no. Like, the word that I was looking for is preposterous. That's just preposterous. Um, yeah. So if you follow the law, right? At the end of the day, it's about knowing what is good and what is evil. And that at the end of the day, we read this and we know that we are condemned, right? If the law is made with truth in mind, at the end of the day, it is just going to condemn us. Even the law of the land, even if it's not Torah, you see yourself, you read your law, the law of your country. How many tens of thousands of pages are there, and how many violations have you done, right? Because it is not that it's being, the whole thing is made, especially in a democratic society, it's not that the whole thing is devised to condemn you. It's just that it is the truth, right? And truthfully speaking, it's not easy to be just. Justice is just not really that easy. We all are responsible to be just, but it is not an easy thing to complete 100%. Um, and that's relevant, right? The way we treat the Torah as the law of the land is going to apply to the way we treat the law of the land in general. Um, but again, if you read Rome chapter 9 and 10, it is Paul said that that's just the way it goes. And you're not going to go around that and like, oh, probably I'm just going to live by my own whim, my own logic, without referring to Jesus Christ, of course. And then I'm going to figure it out. Um, I think you should always refer to the law, right? Even though it is not perfect, even though it is not always going to be um, right. Okay, as a society, we should. I would rely on you to be just, and you would rely on me to be just. Um, and people who do injustice is being called wrong. It's always going to be like that. Um, with that, I'm probably going to end the live stream. If you have any comments, please leave your comments below. Enrich my thoughts, enrich my experience. I would appreciate that. I know that this is kind of not user friendly and could be de desensitizing. But the real purpose I do this also is just to make me remember about these points, because sometimes things happen. Second law of thermodynamics, right? I forgot, and I would do something wrong. I could probably look back in this video and make adjustment. um, if you want me to make better videos, I'm going to need your feedback or your questions so that I could work with that instead. I know I'm just now it's just working with myself here, and only me probably going to understand the whole thing. But if you thought there's something in here that is worthy, we could, you know, we could probably do something in the context of the conversation. All right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.